Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's another episode of Mike and Blaine. I'm Mike Blaine, also known as Cash Flow Mike. That is my friend, my partner, Blaine Birch, the CEO and founder of Dry Run, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. So, what's up, man?
I don't know if it happened for you, but we switched. The jingle played and also the swish. I'm like, what? Where are you? Moving my window around.
Places. Yeah, we switched places. It's funny. Well, cool. So, what's going on in your world, man? I tell you what, we got Bertha coming through, Louisiana, Houston. Maybe we'll get some rain. We had rain all last week here in Texas, but we're in like a heat wave in between rains. It is 96 right now, but man, it feels hot.
Something that Alberta did that has caused us to have a plague this year, because we've said record-setting rain. And when I say record-setting rain, I couldn't tell you how many, probably tens of houses, thousands of houses across the city have flooded in the basements. In fact, people I know, fortunately, our sump pump's been doing okay. And that means, and then we've had a little bit of heat in between, which means we have mosquitoes like you wouldn't believe. You can barely go outside. And even though we've had all this rain, apparently there's other places that haven't got rain, and we have smoke. So today it is screaming hot and it's smoky out there, even though everything's wet. It's so bizarre.
You are really tearing up the Northeast right now with your smoke.
I've heard. I don't think we're getting that smoke. I think we have our own special smoke from up north or out west or something here. So it's been a really bizarre summer, and oh man. Anyway, so I hope yours is a Bertha, you called it. I hope that's not going to hit you guys too hard, because we've seen what rain can do. It's not such a fun time.
Well, I don't think you're going to get any of the weather from Bertha, but there are people in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio, New York that is getting Canadian wildfire smoke right now as we speak.
Also, you may not know this. There's a lot of fires in the U.S. right now.
Hey, we don't need to be pointing out.
It doesn't stop at the border here. There's fires everywhere.
We're only talking about Canadian wildfires today.
You have to. That I think that's Canadian smoke mixed with our American smoke. And you realize as soon as the wind shifts, we get American smoke up here. So it's, I find that kind of funny. It seems to think Canada's on fire, but nothing down in the States, which is not quite what's happening.
You know, that what you just said there reminds me of your story about the bird, right? Where they wouldn't let what is that thing called that you have? A cock?
No, we have a parrot, and getting him across the border is virtually impossible right now because of bird flu. So yeah, like we have a parrot that lives literally just with us in the house. He's completely, isolated, and they won't let him across the border, even though 4 billion birds plus cross the border every spring and every fall, which would be a little bit like the smoke. Yeah, the wind shifts and it's like, we're getting smoke from Seattle. That's just how it is, right?
Yeah, we won't let in the bird that lives in a cage in your house and doesn't touch anything in the world, but all these birds just fly back and forth the way you want to. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that shows you the logic of the powers that be on both sides of the border. This is not a one or the other. They both are universally kind of dumb. Anyway, so it is what it is. Yeah.
All right. So as usual, we don't know how to start the show, so we just start talking. But if
that is how we start the show.
If you're new. Matter of fact, I had a great trip this weekend up to Omaha, Nebraska. See my daughter, my granddaughter. Wade is the person that cares for both of them full time, and he runs a concrete company up in Plattsmouth. I don't know. That's where he lives. I don't know if he lives there or his company's in Omaha. Anyway, that area. And What a great trip, man. It was just a great, fantastic family trip when we talked.
Nice.
I think on the spot, he subscribed or downloaded some episodes and wanted to kind of keep up with us. So
Nice.
we should tell new people, because I think I had a few new people, pop open this weekend. So what is this, right? It's Mike and Blaine, Business, Beer, and BS. And that's what we do. We talk about business. We talk about trending topics. And as you can tell, there's a little bit of BS knocked in there a little bit too.
And we're going to just dive into our beer, because every week, if you're new here, well, first of all, I got to mention we have beer sponsors. You can sponsor the episode. $5 an episode. Go to mikeandblaine.com. You can buy us a beer. You can sponsor one episode. You can go on. We actually have a subscriber that supports us every single month. And we also have ones that just bought a whole bunch of beers, and we're going to mention them every episode for the rest of the year. So you definitely can do that. And we're going to mention them right away. But we also always like to talk about some of our local breweries. So who are you, what are you drinking today, and who made it?
You're going to be a little disappointed, but these things have been teasing me. You ever just see something on the shelf and you're like going, yeah, I just got to try it. Right. So
that's how I got the Iron Maiden beer that was not very good, but had an awesome can.
Yeah. But it's the Voodoo Ranger series, right? From New Belgium.
Voodoo Ranger.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And but it's called Tropic Force. It's a tropical IPA. Right?
Oh, sweet.
But so you got to just love the Voodoo Ranger series, right? From New Belgium.
Love it.
Some people know New Belgium for Fat Tire, but they have another series that's fantastic. And I just wanted the tropical IPA. I want to check it out.
Oh, and their Voodoo Ranger. I have bought, I bet you, a half a dozen different Voodoo Rangers. The same thing, because their cans are so cool. I can't. And it's good beer. They make a really terrific beer. So yeah, that is a good pick, man. I applaud you on that one. Now, I'm a little embarrassed to say that I didn't go get new beer this week, so I'm just the same stuff that I had in the fridge last week. I had a bunch of these. But I love these guys. Irrational Brewing in Edmonton, and it is the West Coast Pilsner. I love Irrational. We go there quite often. It's just one of our favorite breweries in town, so yeah. Also want to plug them, of course, for sure too.
There you go. And here's who we can thank for our beers this week. I mean, first of all, you got our subscriber, right? I mean, we have one subscriber. Most people just pay for the whole year, but this guy, he went all in, like every month, just deduct money right out of my account. It's $5 an episode. It's not that big a deal. He's all in on family. He's part of my family. His name is Trey. And man, I appreciate you. Thanks for being a great sponsor. And, hey, we got a big first year of college because he and I share a daughter. We're going to go put her through college starting in about 3-4 weeks.
We need more beer sponsors, everybody. Pony up.
Right?
It takes a lot of $5 beer. No, that's awesome. That's terrific. Thanks so much. And also Devin, biggest LSU fan on the planet. Love Devin. And he's our Netflix superstar. He actually was on Netflix, Devin, because he's such a big fan of LSU and also works at LSU. So thanks again, Devin. Appreciate it.
There you go. And speaking of just superstars, we know an Amazon bestseller. Her name is Karen Hairston up in Michigan. She has a program for you. I mean, first of all, she is a process queen. If you have a process in your business you need help with, she can smooth it out and make everything okay, right? Karen Hairston. And she's got her best-selling book on Amazon. It's called Stop Growing Broke, Start Growing Profit. Go check it out. Go buy one today.
And I'm going to thank Neighbor Pat. I know we have another sponsor after that, but I want to thank Neighbor Pat because what's hilarious is he's the one celebrity that's been on the show like twice and actually got recognized. Mike and I we've never been recognized ever, but Neighbor Pat did. So we got to thank him for supporting the show, buying his beer, and love having you watch the show all the time, Pat. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him absent Neighbor Pat because I haven't seen him in like 2-3 weeks. Like not a hi, not a bye, not a kiss my ass, nothing. I hope he's okay.
Oh, he's probably hiding out from Bertha.
Yeah, and then I got our last sponsor, Larry Weinstein. He is officially, his trademark just got, it was published for opposition, made it through. He has a registered trademark now called the Cash Flow Cowboy. So if you're looking for somebody that's a CPA that can help you smooth out your cash flow and find hidden cash in your business and do your taxes at the same time, go check out the Cash Flow Cowboy in Houston, Texas.
Thanks so much, Larry. And now, for those of you who just started watching the show for the first time, we actually have Mike gets this amazing jingle made every week on our topic. So right before we dive into the topic, here's this great intro. Give you a little teaser of what we're doing.
Too cool to care, too proud to try, acting unimpressed as the good stuff passes by. Put down the pose and give a damn. It's Mike and Blaine. Care as hard as you can. Business, beer, and BS.
There we go.
I'm so glad you chose that one. I always send you 2 versions of the jingle, right? Because it makes 2 versions automatically so you can look at it. I'm so glad you picked that one. That's the better one.
It is. Well, they're both good, but I like that one. There's something about a guy. The fake robot has so much energy this time.
Yes. All right. So here's what happened. I'm watching the news and they're talking about, hey, it's cool to be chalant or whatever it is. And everybody's like going, what's that? Because we always say nonchalant, but nobody says you're chalant. I'm like going, oh shit. It's like they made a new word to describe something and it's not us. It's not X's. It's not Y's. It's like the Z's, the youngest group or whatever they're called right now. The youngest group is saying, hey, I don't want you to be nonchalant. I want you to be all in on my relationship, right? So the dating scene has become, hey, you can't just be too cool to talk. You can't be too cool to not text me for 3 days. You can't be too cool to, all these things. So they're calling it somebody that is chalant, somebody that's actually invested back into the other person as a dating thing. I'm like going, there's business applications for that too. I love the word chalant. I love what they're doing. And I love that they're reconnecting and getting off the phone, right? Getting off the phone saying, no, I want to be with you, right? They're actually being invested in the relationship. So I thought that was a cool thing to talk about.
I just learned that term today. A very cool term. I really like it too. I think it's topical and for business, very topical because there's been a lot of businesses that have been pretty nonchalant with things like customer support, quality of their goods, their services, and especially a lot of the big ones seem to get away with it, right? And I think that there's a lot of lessons in there that we can take on how we can excel and sometimes compete against the big ones and compete against the AI-driven companies. Because I tell you one thing, AI isn't going to care like a person.
Well, and I think that's what led me to this today is like going, I used to say something during my seminars. I'm like going, nobody knows nobody cares about what you know until they know that you care. Right. And that was me teaching about relationship banking. Like, don't come lecture me about just stuff. I'm feeling real pain here. And if I don't think you care about my personal situation, I'm going to ignore what you have to say. And that's one of the things I really like about what's happening now is because we've been talking, believe it or not, the last few months about authenticity, being authentic. And that's this whole movement is that when you act like you're too cool to care, right? You're too cool to be bothered. Yeah. Well, that's what people feel. That's what they see. People nowadays want to see you fail, the fail attempts, the struggle, the ambition and the focus and the drive. And it was a cool topic to just talk about, right? Because people are past being embarrassed about being seen doing things that are hard and failing.
Yeah. And, being, of course, in startup land, we live this every day. And I'll tell you that when you pick this topic, I immediately said, oh man, this is so topical. This is so much in line with what I'm thinking about a lot these days. And the biggest reason that I think it's been really topical is because I've started to recognize over the last couple of years that me, along with, probably a lot of startups, got a little too engrossed in systems and advisors that were just, here's the system, here's the this, here's the that, here's how you do it. Really what that was leading to was building out systems and trying to scale before you're ready to scale. And what happens as a consequence of that is you start to lose the passion to serve your customer like go through the wall for your customer, do anything you need to talk, like to make sure that they're successful, that they understand, that they're not confused, and we've had some lessons on that. And I think it's changed a bit of our culture where it's just focus first on the customer, focus on, again, not systems and processes, focus on listening to them and solving their problem, no matter how long it takes and how hard it is. That will lead to more. And I think it's something that is so critical for startups.
Yeah. The whole movement. And if you still look at some of the coast, if you look at the big cities, I'll call out Toronto, maybe Montreal, maybe New York, maybe LA. If you call those out and you see what they've done, there's a lot of pretending that's went on, right? It was cool to be like on, oh, I don't care how you see me. I don't care how, I look to others. But there's a point in time when that comes off as you don't care either. Right? You don't care about me. You only care about you. Right. And that's not just an individual. That's a company. When a company's too cool, well, do you really care about me as a customer? Yeah. So I looked at it as, okay, well, let's look at what's cool, right? Because I've said that word 3 or 4 times before. Were you cool in, we'll say, high school? Were you cool then?
I doubt it very much.
All right, but what did cool mean when you were growing up? What did that mean?
What did that mean? Can you really define cool? You know it when you see it, but I'm not sure I could define, when, if junior high, high school, and that, if I saw people and thought, oh, they're really cool. I don't think it would be a checklist. There's just something about it that, made them cool. I don't even know if I could define it. Right. And I think it changes from person to person and generation to generation. Right.
Yeah.
If I saw when I was in that maybe junior high and you see someone with a really cool skateboard, they're really good at skateboarding, probably instantly cool. Lots of people would see that and be like, no, I don't like nothing. Don't see it.
Okay. We'll go with that. Right. So your skateboard, you might see one, not a person on it, see a skateboard and you go, oh man, that's cool. And I might go, right.
Exactly.
But then we could both see the same person on that skateboard doing the same trick. And we both go, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. You're right. There could be some same musicians. Like I grew up playing music and being in garage bands and everything like that. But when you see a musician, there's ones that, I would probably think, oh, that's a really cool musician or something about it. And other people totally dismiss and vice versa. Right. Yeah. So I think it's hard to define. I think it's really hard to define. Right?
All right. So, but put something in your mind. Let me ask the question. Put something in your mind. You go, when I was in high school, this person was cool. Right. And just, you got somebody, you got somebody already you're thinking about. And if you're listening, you guys do the same thing. Yeah. All right. Okay. So I got somebody too. Okay. Now, do you picture that person doing something or just leaning against a wall?
Oh, yeah, probably. Like I was picturing probably more of the leaning against the wall more than doing something.
Isn't that weird? You're like going, it's like the avoidance of doing something because they're pretending not to care about other people doing stuff because they might fail in front of others. Maybe.
Yeah, but is it also, I guess maybe there's a difference now of what you would think is cool. Someone failing at something and just not even being bothered by it would be really cool, but maybe not when we're young, right?
That's what's cool today, right? I mean, think about it. The reason why some people don't want to do stuff, I can remember having friends in the yard and I'm doing something and I'm who knows? I look dumb. I look stupid. I jump or whatever. 'Cause I'm not the cool guy, but the cool guy wouldn't do it. And I think it's because they were afraid of looking foolish.
And I think there's a point where maybe that disappears because I still remember being young. Just when you're talking about this, I haven't thought of this in probably 40 years. But I remember, it probably was more than 40 years. I remember my dad mowing the lawn and he had this tight red t-shirt on that said Super Dad on the front and cut off jeans and black socks and shoes.
Still not cool.
Was not cool. But
still not.
I get that now because I'm like, I just don't care. And I don't know if I would really even think about it mowing the lawn. I don't need it like where would I want to wear mow the lawn, you know? So is there some point where it's just like, you just don't care anymore, right?
Yeah. And and what happened is that we'll say the internet kind of changed everything about it. Because before that, you could have people that tried and failed versus people that just wouldn't try, right? And we think, well, the person that doesn't do anything isn't cool or is cool. And the person that tries and fails isn't cool because he looks dumb when he fails. But the internet, I think, has changed that significantly, which is we have had the opportunity to see people achieve perfection because they can edit videos and things like that, but you don't see the struggle. And it was done on purpose. It was done on purpose to see the perfection, not the struggle.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah. All those skateboard videos you see now, and I watch them and I'm saying like, oh man, that's amazing. There was a time, this is really interesting because I have noticed this. There was a time where you would see these absolutely unbelievable tricks and they make it look so easy and so painless, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see all the times that they fail. But I have noticed recently that sometimes when I'm watching a video, you see these guys like wipe it out, smashing their face, doing this, and they'll show like 5-6 times or whatever, and then they'll show them landing the trick. And I never used to see that, but when you mention it now, I'm like, that's what people kind of what they want to see. They see a little bit of the struggle and the hard part, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the authentic, and that's all right. So that's what caught my attention when I heard them talking about this chalant on the news.
Yeah,
and you know, it was an interesting twist on dating. I know business and dating. I mean, it's kind of related. We can probably relate it as still a relationship. But what they were saying is that we always talk about red flags. Oh, it's a red flag if they do this or that or this, the other. They say being chalant is one of the greenest flags you can have today in the young dating world. And the reason for that is because everybody that was nonchalant was detached. They were unconcerned with everything. They were too cool to chase. Every book you ever read as a kid, me and you in the 70s and 80s, every movie we saw, there was somebody chasing somebody else. They were interested, right? And now that's what's considered cool again, is that you actually, if you show effort like we did, try to get Heather, try to get Courtney, but that's the only way I know how to, get a girl's chase.
Give it effort.
Show open interest. Show that you're interested. Show that you're intentional. Show that, you're willing to go that extra little step. And I'm like going, damn, that's exactly what we should be doing in business as well.
Yeah, 100% agree. Because it's so easy to turn things into a commodity, and it's so easy to turn, people into prospects or numbers rather than actually just people. And you and I know that like business is done people to people and relationships matter. Maybe not when it actually is a small commodity transaction. But a lot of it matters. And that's interesting. We were talking about this because I'm thinking about as you reach out to different people that, tell about your services or whatever, there are so many things that I think they're seeing as red flags, but that's always a moving target. And I'm always trying to figure out, well, how do I stand out? How do I be authentic so that they actually believe me? And it's believe it's a real person reaching out to them. How do we do that? How do we do that and make it sound sincere and real when everyone's inundated with robots all the time, right?
Yeah. What's funny is that you and I both use robots in different ways that we do it. But, I'm using it right now, but what I'll do is I'll take the robot for the automation. We'll say LinkedIn. and I'll change the words to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't let the robot think for me, but I do let it help me think.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Like I do a lot of brainstorming with
Yeah.
it, with the bots, because it has so much information, and I can ask it and I can bounce ideas. And what I'm literally doing is, well, what are other people doing? What are leaders in the area doing? What is this? What is that? But ultimately it's still me that's coming out in the end. But they can be amazingly powerful. But what I won't do is just go do everything on your own, write stuff, answer all of that. Cause I'm like, I don't trust that stuff. Maybe eventually, but I don't trust that. It's because you'd have to almost like train it and get it immersed in your culture.
Well,
Yeah, I think there's places where it works, right?
I mean, business today runs at the speed of the internet. Right.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, when you and I were kids, embarrassment had an expiration date on most things.
Yes.
Which means we could do something dumb and people would forget about it. Hopefully by a week. If you did something really dumb, it still comes up at your 30-year reunion. You know, but but there's an expiration date where people weren't thinking about it. Like, but let me ask you this: if we had cell phone cameras like they do today, would you have lived your teenage life different?
Oh yes, I'm sure I would have, right? Because you would feel like you're under surveillance.
Yeah.
All of the time. And it's not like we got into like any serious trouble, but we were often in a little bit of trouble, right? Like we were often just kind of, but it was actually less than that, because that's not the stuff that people post online. It's catching people in embarrassing situations. And I think that is so damaging. And I think there's a massive lack of respect, I think, today, which I think where I find very, very concerning and very disturbing. Because boy, people are quick to pick up. I think people are quicker to pick up the phone than to actually help you with anything, right?
It's not just that. Think about, my first business was 99-ish or what, something like that. Think about all the things I tried that failed or whatever, but I wasn't punished on the internet. I wasn't, beat up with reviews and stars and those type of things, right? I mean, I could try something. Now people avoid just trying a new idea, even if it's like partially finished, but you're just testing it out, right? Or, anything, volunteering for a new responsibility because your fear of, I've never done it before, so you're going to be judged because you're supposed to be the expert or something like that.
Yeah. It's weird how people are judged today, because, or even the how things show up on the internet, because you just mentioned those reviews, right? They can be really shady. Like they can be very shady. They can be artificially inflated, artificially deflated. I'm not sure if they generally even fall into the middle. But the bots today, it's funny because I've read that they overwhelmingly give more credence to conversations they see on Reddit and LinkedIn and places like that. So they're giving advice based on people having potentially real true conversations on LinkedIn or Reddit, because there's no guarantee they're real or true. Actually, there's very little chance they're true, but it's giving it's like, well, it might at least be maybe more honest, but could be even less informed. And so really, again, like with a lot of the information, how much are we getting with the garbage in and garbage out?
Yeah, it's funny, garbage in and garbage out. But you know what? In the military, they used to tell me something like no news is ever as good or as bad as you receive it. And I forgot that until you just said, what you just said. I'm like, so I need to apply that to reviews when I'm looking at them. Like, obviously that's probably just propaganda. Obviously this is somebody that's just mad. So almost a 3-star review is probably the most honest.
Probably, yeah.
It's a weird thing, you know?
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna sort of throw a counter in there. I think I'm pretty sure it's a 3-star review on one of the platforms. And one of my staff knew who it was, and it was complete and utter bullshit. And I'm still mad about it 6-7 years later, because
6-7.
6, yeah. Approximately. So, but it is probably the least honest one. It just pisses me off. It's like, I just know that one's bullshit. There might even be like, we got good reviews. Maybe there's even a worse review in there, but at least it might be like, yeah, no, we dropped the ball with that one. That one's just bullshit. And it makes me so mad when I hear about that. But it's interesting because has been this erosion of trust, and that's where this authenticity comes in. But it's more than authenticity. How do you verify and how do you trust people? How do you trust businesses when it's really hard to trust information?
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, the new cool when we talk about authentic is I want to see you trying. I've been trying to do that. If I got members right now that are listening to this podcast, I hope that they would say he is transparent in his failures as he is successes. And I give credit. Am I going, ooh, Gene came up with this, or, Larry did that. I think trying is the new cool. Not just succeeding, trying the thing that you're willing to put yourself out there, that you're willing to take that chance, that you're willing to show the journey with others, because everybody thinks, you're a success. Well, the old cliche, oh, I'm a 10-year overnight success.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause I've been failing for 10 years and all of a sudden it clicked.
And it's rarely not even an all of a sudden. It's 10 years of like a friend of mine said, some days you don't get punched in the face, right? Like I've said that before in this show.
Yeah.
It's this constant learning. And so it's not like it is suddenly it works, but there was 1,000 little 1% improvement or 0.1% improvements over all of that time, and lots of up and down. So it's like either improvement and then down, oops, wrong, oops, until it starts to work. And yeah, it's such a hard journey, but it's and then sometimes you find those like you're saying, some of those customers that they believe in you, they stick with you, kind of through thick and thin a bit, right?
Oh, I see that every day, right? I mean, on some things that who knows, anybody else might have just quit and says, I'm going to cancel or leave the service. They just stay. Even before the internet, even before software, hotel staffing, there might have been mistakes that we made as a staff, but the person stayed because they knew that I would address it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A service, they could get a better service, not a better service. They never get a better service, but they could get a different service.
Yeah.
It's just a different set of problems. They always trusted me to fix it.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that, we see, we see every once in a while, like you and I've talked about on the show lots of times. One of the biggest things is like, you have your sort of support acronym, but number one to me is reach out right away, like be fast in, like you say, acknowledging it.
Aura.
But one of the things that we do is we oftentimes will dig really deep on answering a question. And in fact, we had one earlier today, and it was kind of a weird one because they were confused about something, which is not their fault whatsoever. It's some of the stuff on the setup can be a little bit tricky because you just got to get a setup right and everything. That's just how it is. And they were a little bit confused there. But then on top of it, they had an error on this one refresh, which is a kind of an edge case one. I don't know where it came from, and it's really going to be hard for us to diagnose because it shows up so rarely. But of course, in their mind, this all went together. This didn't work, so this is the result. But then we got back to him really quick. But we took our time and we crafted a response. We could say, okay, two different things. Thanks for letting us know about this one. We're gonna try and track that down. It's kind of a weird one, but we're gonna try and track it down. But this is unrelated, and this is literally just a setting thing, and this is why. And he wrote back right away and was really like, "Wow, thanks so much." And I realize now that, yeah, like I get it. I get what I did, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And and it was interesting because at first we're like, you feel so bad, like, oh no, they're struggling, they're confused. This is, take it so close, like so much to heart. It was really nice to see a response where they appreciated, they could see, they could see the effort we put in. They appreciated the effort and the detail and the attention to them and the attention to detail. Flipped it the other way where I think they really were on our side after that.
Oh, dude, that's really interesting because I think we as businesses hide the effort, hide the labor behind it.
Yeah.
Think about maybe the hours, the time, or whatever you spent. All they saw was the return email. Here's the result of all the stuff we did. Right? So think about that. I wonder if there's an application case for, not to every customer, but maybe on your social media feed to say, here's the level of detail and the stuff that we do. And maybe you put a montage of research this, do that, think about this, show them the connection for just a use case. So people see the level of care and detail you put into every single request.
Yeah. 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 And I don't know how. It's a good call. Like, I'll have to think on that because I think that's something that you want to pull back the curtain on so that, like I brought this up. I think this was probably last summer, but I do want to bring it up again because when I brought my car in to get an oil change, I think it was last summer, there was, and I can't for life remember what they did wrong, but they did something wrong, and the car, when there's too much pressure, something burst, oil was shooting out. I managed to get it home into the garage. That's about as far as I got it. Dumped oil on the floor, and so I didn't really want to leave it there. Called the shop, and they went so far overboard to fix it that what was kind of a really bad experience turned into something where when it was all done, I'm such an advocate of them because they sent people out. They worked on the car in my garage, got it to the point where they could take it back to the shop. They took it back. They got me a loaner that dropped off. They cleaned my garage floor. They cleaned my car from top to bottom, even after they had fixed it inside and out, all the oil that was spraying everywhere. Inside the engine bay, they even cleaned the inside of the car. They went absolutely overboard, returned my car, took the loaner back. Like that said a lot to me because it was like those guys like really stood behind what they do. That would be an interesting story that you would like to see online, right? Like you actually watch, well, we screwed up here, but look what we did to fix it.
Now, see, they just did it and didn't post it. That's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
That's the cool you don't see.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, because if you start posting all of that stuff, as I'm saying, you do an example.
Then it looks, then it doesn't look legit,
look
right?
how cool I am. Look at how hard I try, right?
Yeah.
As a business.
Yeah. So they almost have to rely on their customers to share that story without them knowing it. But then it's still probably going to look fake, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, what's funny is that we have celebrated effortless for so long that when people show effort, it seems like they're bragging.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, isn't it?
That's a crazy thing to think about. You're like, going, oh, yeah, of course. We all work that hard. We just don't tell others.
Yep.
Right. It's crazy.
It's interesting. It's funny how these things from a business stand out in your mind. It's like, you remember the ones that stand out, either the really bad service or the really good service. They both, they'll both have an impact. The middle of the road, you just tend to forget, right?
Well, I keep seeing people kind of comment on a clip of ours that Jeff put out about, what the hell was it? About how, shit, I even forgot what I was going to say.
One of our clips, like our shorts or something?
Yeah, it was one of our clips. And we were talking about how people respond to the business and the effort that you make. And we were talking about like enthusiasm or something like that. I forget what it was. I just saw it the other day. I'm saying, why did that one get so much of a lift? But to me, I don't figure out what it is. There's a word that escaped me. There's a word that we used in there that you can go search, but I don't know. Thank you. Thank you, Voodoo.
Voodoo Ranger does it again.
But, enthusiasm is really something that travels, right? When you get excited about a brand, when you're there and you're in it and you feel like you're part of the community, that transfers very well.
Yeah.
But so does the other thing, right? So the other thing that transfers is indifference.
Yeah.
So, if I'm, pushing you off or putting you down or making you feel insignificant, that travels the same way. And when you talk about customers, telling others what we know, and we've talked about this, where only 3% of the people have a problem actually tell you. The other 97% tell everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm going to give a bit of an example here because it's interesting that both of them stick in my mind, and it's the same business. And I was over at I'm going to mention it because I'm going to be a little critical of them. I just would rather not, but I was just doing a Amazon return, and there's lots of places you can return Amazon to. And I walked in and there was a lineup, and it was moving really slow. And there's like one person behind the counter doing all the returns. And the lady that was two ahead of me, she finally just got fed up and walked out the door. But right beside the counter, I could see into there's a side room right there with a big window and the door wide open. And there was like a half a dozen people leaning back, leaning on stuff, talking, chatting away, doing nothing. And there's people walking around the shop. And finally, someone came and opened up the other till. And you kind of look and go, that is like nobody, like I can see you right there, even if you close the door, but I can see you guys doing nothing, just sitting there ignoring us. Right now, the reason I want to flip this is because that stands out in my mind. Same business, different city down in Scottsdale, but same business. And I went in to do some photocopying, and one of their staff members walked up and said, well, can I help you? And I said, I just want to do some photocopy. Like I've done it a million times, or print something. I wanted to print something. I got my little memory star, my phone. I can't remember how you do it, but I've done it a million times. This guy, I kid you not, I swear, he's almost like, hold on, everybody, coming through. This guy's got a print. There's almost no one else in the store, but that's how excited this guy was. And he walked me over and he briefed me on the whole thing. It was like maybe it was his first day at work, but he was really excited and really engaged.
Yeah.
And I also remember that. And I remember like, wow, if they could fill their store up with people like that, they would, just be amazing sales.
Yeah. Or he's making fun of you. Hold on, everybody. Let's stop all everybody else's problems. It's because this guy's got a print.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but no, he was dialed in and helped me.
Yeah,
because if you would have been sarcastic, I probably would have started laughing. But it was pretty amazing.
His leadership, right? And I think as a leader, you got to give your employees permission to care.
Yeah,
that's all he did. He showed care.
Yeah, that he cared.
In any form that he gave you. I don't know if it was sarcastic or if he was legitimate, just having fun with his job. But he felt like he had the permission to do that.
Yeah, Yeah. And no, he was having fun. He was excited. He really enjoyed his job. And you know what? I always talk about the different type of staff that you see at different breweries. That's one of those things that I kind of notice. And universally, the staff seem to usually be pretty good. But there are places that, like, we go repeatedly, and a big part of it is because of the staff, because they care and they care about the people, and they're so friendly. They remember you. They are a huge part of the experience. And then there's other places where they're fine. They do their job. They take your money. They pour your beer. They smile and say thank you. But it just kind of takes the, like you're talking, the energy and the excitement, it kind of sucks a little bit of the, I shouldn't say it sucks anything out. It just doesn't add anything. It just sort of stays flat. But you could have staff that can actually like elevate it and really drive that traffic. And
hey, speaking of that, have you ever been like disappointed or frustrated when you were ready to spend money? I just need somebody to answer this question. And you send into their support channels or their sales email or whatever it is. Hey, ready to buy. Just want to know this thing before I do. And they don't get back to you for days.
Yeah. The short answer is yes, because as soon as you say that, I can immediately feel it, feel the frustration. I've absolutely been through. I can't think of an exact
credit card example of that,
there you go. But yeah, I absolutely can feel it. And I can also, I know I've walked out of stores before. I know I've definitely left websites and that, but I know I've walked out of stores before and just went, I'll go somewhere else. I'll drive further down the road just because I'm a little annoyed that I can't get this answer or whatever.
See, that's where I would take an AI answer. Read my email and says, oh, and spits back whatever answer that, they have for that type of issue. It's not new. If I'm asking a question, chances are they've already had it asked somewhere or they already know how to do it. Train AI to respond instantly and people go, oh, that makes sense. Bye.
Yep.
You probably increase sales 20, 30, 40, 50% just by that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the areas where you're seeing like massive increases of use is in that customer support through AI, because it's also something that it can tend to be fairly good at because it can be trained. Like it can be trained with so much information that it can be generally pretty good at the basics. But boy, the second it can't answer something and then it starts to put you in the loop, that's where it can get so frustrating because there's things it simply cannot do. And the flip side is it better get you to a person right away or you're gone, right?
Hey, the first business I built, janitorial company, I got most of my first jobs because I answered the phone. People weren't looking for anybody else. They'd call 2 or 3 other people, say, we'll try this one, answer the phone, and then went
Interesting.
Yeah. And now
that's really interesting. Huh?
Now nobody answers the phone.
No.
I don't either. I'm going to tell you, I don't rarely. If you call my public number, the one on Google, I rarely answer it because it's always garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody that's legit is contacting me through an email or contact us form.
Yeah. We have like a 1-800 or 1-8 whatever number. I don't think anyone uses it. And basically it's going to go straight to voicemail and then we'll get back to you for the very rare one that's actually legit, but you're just not answering because it's all junk and you can't see it beforehand. Really. I haven't answered my cell phone for, a call that didn't show up in my contacts list, or like a person that I obviously knew who it was, in years, I'll, because frankly, there's very few, you, couple of my other friends, my parents and in-laws, that's literally at and my wife, the phone, those are the only phone calls I ever get that are actually real, unless the very odd time it's like a cable support. I know they're going to, cable company or not. I know they're going to phone. They tell me we're going to phone in 10 minutes and I have to shut off all the call blocking things for that time, just don't do it.
I got one of the first phone calls I ever got from neighbor Breger yesterday. He says, hey, you want to meet at the bar? What? Yeah. Are you kidding me? And he was coming from downtown. I'm up here, so there's some places in the middle, and we just met. It was the first time that we had just been together as two guys, and we've been friends for 5 years now, 6 years. He lives just right down the street, 3 houses.
Yeah.
And first time he called me out. But you know what? When he texted, I answered.
Yeah. That's it was funny. Last week I had a friend of mine call that I was in a meeting when he called. And so I got out of the meeting. I know my phone was buzzing, but it's almost always junk. Actually, most of the junk doesn't get through to me though. Like it gets blocked before it ever gets to me.
Yeah.
So I check and I said, a friend of mine called. So I called him back, say, hey, what's up? He says, hey, remember that burger place you're saying that had really good burgers? I was trying to remember what place that was. And I said, oh yeah, okay. And they says, but I just remembered. And I said, well, last time I was there, the burgers weren't quite as good as they were before. So I don't know if it was just that night or not. And he just goes, oh, just ordered. He was already there and had already ordered. So I was trying to give him, well, you might not want to go there. But then he said it was actually pretty good, but I felt kind of bad. It's like, well, we just ordered. Sorry. Anyway, that's good.
So here's something I thought about. When they were talking about chalant and dating, the thing that went through my mind was one statement, because what they're talking about is people that were playing hard to get. Right? You've heard that, right? That's what nonchalant is. I'm playing hard to get.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, man, that's a terrible customer acquisition strategy. Like, I'm not going to attract any customer that way. Why would I think I'm going to attract a mate?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, holy shit, we're starting to correct all this. Right? That we go back to caring. We go back to, actually thinking about and responding to and being interested in the customer.
Yeah.
Isn't that that's a weird, like, oh my God, it's a full circle moment from dating to business.
Yeah. Well, and it's always seen as such a good thing that when businesses are really busy, and it is to a large degree. But I will tell you, like, when was the last time you stood in line? Like, I won't stand in line for anything.
Dude, if they're in line,
it's not happening. Yeah, it's not happening. I'm turning around and walking out and going, nope, maybe another time, but I ain't staying here. I'm not standing in line for anything. I just don't do it.
Now, all right. So if we go to one of our favorite restaurants and they say it's a 25-minute wait, we'll sit because it's usually a 7 or 10-minute wait.
Yes, because I'll sometimes do that, but I'm always in my mind. I'm always, what's the alternative, right?
Yeah.
And if it's kind of like, well, it's probably closer to 15 minutes, and we're not even going to get in the car and get somewhere for 30.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, what are you going to do? But
and then
we walked into
the queue.
What's that?
And then you might be in another queue, right? You go to your
exactly. You could be in another queue, right? And I know last weekend we were going to try a place and we walked up to it, and all I did was open up the door, and there was a lineup, and it was loud and it was busy, and I just went, nope, close the door. We walked out, and then I looked at my watch and went, happy hour just started at our favorite place. And then we hopped on our bikes and went over there and walked right in, and it was amazing. And I'm like, oh man, these are the guys that should be busy. But anyway, it was kind of fun.
Yeah. So good one. This was a good one, man. I really appreciate it. And we got great beer sponsors. We got a great topic.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been listening in 2026, you'll notice that we are taking trending topics off of the internet, off of news, off of real life, and talking about them just like you would with your friends. So if you got one that you're talking about with your friends and you want to hear our take on it, go to Facebook, go to YouTube, put in the comments.
Yes. And go to mikeandblaine.com. You can buy us a beer there. You can even buy us merch. And you can even email us beer@mikeandblaine.com. And we would love to hear from you.
Heck yeah. Hey, another one of the books. Man, I'm telling you what, if you watch our clips, they are just, we're getting we used to get notifications of 100 views, 200 views. We don't even get them till they're past 500 views anymore.
Yeah, we're getting, we got one over 1 million. But we're getting thousands are the usual for our clips, especially our shorts. Yeah, people seem to love those. So.
Oh yeah, very cool. All right, man. We'll see you. Not next week. We're going to take next week off.
Yep.
And the week after, we're going to do an early one.
Yes, it's going to be weird for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Right.
That's my fault.
That's right. That's right.
It's summer. Yeah. If you're in Boulder, hey, I'm going to be out in Boulder doing my thing. So if you're in Boulder, you're like, oh, no, I'm going to try to go look for Cashflow Mike. Maybe you can find me like you did neighbor Pat.
Exactly. Celebrity at the bar.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.